The Vikings and Packers already met twice this season. Both games have ended the exact same way.
And it is good!
Now it's win or go home. Will Brett Favre and company make it 3 straight, or could Randy Moss and the Vikes find a win at Lambeau? In the AFC, it's the Broncos and Colts. Again, last year, Indy had Denver buried in an avalanche of points by the half. Today, it's Denver's Pro Bowl secondary against the record-setting Peyton Manning-led pass attack. Will the results be the same? Find out next on NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to Wild Card Sunday of NFL Primetime, along with Tom Jackson, as you just might have heard. I'm Chris Berman. Hey, we begin yesterday, Tom, with 2 road teams winning. So here we go, playoffs. Throw everything you know out the window.
Yeah,
right?
A term we haven't used for a long time. Things get curiouser and curiouser as we go through the playoffs.
And what better place to have a playoff game than the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, as the Green Bay Packers twice this year have beaten the Minnesota Vikings 34-31, their divisional rivals, but they have never played in the playoffs. Dante Culpepper had a marvelous season, and boy, did he come to run and throw. And Mo Williams, 68 yards, could go all the way. 7-0 Vikings. Lambeau stunned right out of the gate.
Yeah, take a look at the replay. Dante Culpepper breaking to his left. Now, he would have run this ball a couple of years ago, but he catches the linebacker, Nick Barnett, in no man's land, makes the toss to Mo Williams, the playmaker. Mo Williams takes the ball in.
So Brett Favre watches, he's stunned, and he would be more stunned as the next drive, it's Michael Bennett. So often there were no Packers within 10 yards of the ball, Tom.
Absolutely.
We saw it. Culpepper to Randy Moss. Moss very much in the news going into the game, and certainly after. More on that. But hey, 5 minutes in, touchdown, it's 14-0 Vikes. And then Antoine Winfield back in the lineup for Minnesota. He had 11 tackles, and he had the pick there, circling the wagon to the one-time Buffalo Bills, 17-0 the Vikes. Favre down 17-3 to the fullback. Boom! William Henderson, 17 yards. Then inside the 5.
Who do you think they're going to?
Bubba Franks, 4-yard touchdown at 17-10. Ball game on, perhaps. But on 1st and 15, the quick out from Culpepper to Nate Burleson. And again, Burleson going right up the side, 29 yards. Michael Hawthorne missed the contain, as you point out, Tom. Culpepper scrambling. You can't bring him down, and he can move much better than you think.
Yeah, 260 pounds of man running about a 4.55, 4.6 40.
But Morton Anderson slips, and the field goal no good. Mike Tice put the pencil back, 17-10. Miami Tice said, hey, it was a big week for Minnesota. They changed the way they practice, and boy, practice makes perfect. Overthrow Favre. Brian Russell with the interception. And Vikes on 2nd and 1. Culpepper, Burleson, slant. 19-yard touchdown, 24-10 Minnesota. Now, you got to love Brett Favre. This is 3rd down. I know he's over the line of scrimmage, but then, why not? I mean, he wasn't going to make it. It's like watching the Harlem Globetrotters play basketball. And earlier he had a shovel pass out to the left.
Very few people have ever had as much fun playing football as Brett Favre.
Look at the smile. Everybody out there smiling. They weren't smiling now. Ryan Longwell, whose 2 field goals beat the Vikings this year, no good. And Miami Tice feels the suntan. Then Donald Duke and look at Tice. 10 years.
Tight end, played against him a couple of times.
Yes, you did. Meanwhile, Chris Claiborne pressure all day. This time Favre feels it and underthrows, and Brian Williams off the nightly news makes the pick. 4 picks for Minnesota. Favre, can he get it back? The quick dump to Amon Green. 14 yards, 1st down. Then Favre, play action, Donald Duke in the driver. 16 yards to the 27. Then Najee Davenport in the end zone, 1 yard, 24-17, a blast off the right side. Fights on 3rd and 6. Culpepper, Burleson, 8 yards. 1st down, Culpepper, Burleson, out of bounds. Flag on the rookie Ahmed Carroll. And why not?
Coach
The refs
Price.
are your friend when things are going like this. Culpepper, and this is to Randy Moss. And did he lull them to sleep, Tom? Because it's 31-17 now. We're not going to show it to you, but he goes over to the goalpost and was very, very foolish in front of a national audience and in front of a full house at Lambeau Field, but on the play, not so foolish.
Yeah, ran a slant goal against Al Harris, just a little inside move, took off down the sideline. You know, that he lulls you to sleep with that inside move, then he turns on the speed.
Then Culpepper to Ontario Smith. 16 yards to Winnipeg. Then 2nd and 6. Ontario Smith. 17 yards to Saskatoon. And the Vikings, for the 3rd time this year against the Pack, scored 31, but Brett Favre and company picked off 4 times. They only get 17. And surprise, surprise, surprise. Another road team comes through, and Minnesota, who had lost 20 of their last 22 games outside, go outside the Lambeau Field and win 31-17. Culpepper with the 4 TDs.
The whole damn season's been challenging. It hasn't been a whole hell of a lot of fun, I can tell you that much. But today's fun. I'm going to enjoy the 40-minute plane flight home, I can promise you that. So, but no, it hasn't been a whole lot of fun. It's been a challenge. But you know what? That's what makes it more satisfying when you have a moment like this.
Everybody said that we couldn't do it, and we just pulled together. You know, we never bought into the negativity, and, you know, it just showed what we can do, and I'm glad we did it because it showed ourselves. It showed us as a group what we can do when we pull together and persevere and just keep fighting.
I was as disappointed I've ever been after a loss. Mainly, and it's not I can handle losing a ball game, but losing the way we lost the ball game by not playing very smart was disappointing.
It'd be easy, you know, to walk off the field after that game and say, I've had enough. But I'm not, you know, I'm going to try to be as fair to myself and to this team as possible. I've had a lot of great games. This obviously was not one of them. But I can't base my decision on this game.
Well, obviously, Brett, as emotional a player as we've ever seen, already taught, again, you know, it's come up. And
Yeah.
he is the Nat King Cole song, Kids from 1 to 92. He still plays as a veteran like he did as a kid, and the joy that we all feel. But at some point, and we hope not yet,
No.
Brett, obviously emotional after a performance like that and a loss like that.
Look, certainly it's a frustrating loss, and it's going to be Brett Favre's decision. I think that there's 2 sides to this. Number one, as a fan, and I think I speak for a lot of fans, I want to see Brett Favre continue to play because I think that after Brett Favre quits this game, you know, he's going to be a hard act to follow, and I don't think we may ever see his like again. That he could be a one-of-a-kind item, but there's another part of me that clearly understands the personal losses that he's gone through over the last couple of years, including the illness that he's gone through with his wife, how he could think about giving up all of that responsibility that you have as the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. I certainly would understand that, and I would just be glad that I had the chance to see him play.
Absolutely. I mean, and Brett, this is what he's frustrated over. I mean, he's had great games, and he's 7-2 now at home in playoffs, but 2 of those losses have come the last 3 years. You see the 14 picks the last 6 games, and so Brett not playing postseason lately the way that he would like, and certainly the Packers would like, in a tough loss to the Vikings. Now, Randy Moss went up to the goalpost and well, looked like he was, if you will, mooning fans, and earlier he was kind of saying, point to the scoreboard. You see, Randy disgraced Lambeau with this, and he disgraced himself, I think, with what he did, and afterwards spoke about it.
The celebration was more of a fun thing and not more of a hatred thing. You know what I'm saying? I just tried to enjoy myself, and as you see after the play, my teammates came and smacked my helmet and picked me in the air and things like that. So that's why I say I was just playing, just having fun, man. Just, you know, caught a touchdown in a big game. I don't even know what quarter it was, but I know it was a big game late in the second half. And, you know, I was just very enthused, and that's what I felt like doing.
You know, last week, after all the walking off the field with 2 seconds to go before the game was over in Washington, he left the field too early. Maybe this, I hate to say it, Tom, but maybe this was the time he should have left the field early because why? Why? It's a big win, big moment for him in the Vikings.
I think you asked the right question. We had part of this conversation because of that issue last week, this morning on Sunday Countdown. And what I said is this: I cannot talk about this anymore. I can't talk about Randy Moss and his responsibility to his football team, to the league, to the game itself. He will have to make decisions on his own. Commissioner, team, owner, Red McCombs will have to make those decisions as to how to get through to him. We cannot. I said it this morning. He's made it clear to me that no one can tell him what to do or when to do it. And he acts that out all the time. So those issues right now, as far as I'm concerned, are for somebody else.
Respect and class. At some point, it's got to be a part of it. He's obviously an excellent player, and the Vikings are moving on. But just think about it. When we return, a gentleman with respect and class who's a great player, that would be Peyton Manning. So the Colts swing into action at home against the Broncos. We'll be back.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
After a record-breaking season for Peyton Manning and one of the highest-scoring seasons ever in the NFL by the Indianapolis Colts, now they got to try their hand at the real season, the playoffs. And they played the team that they sliced and diced in this round last year, the Denver Broncos. Here we go from the big horseshoe. Would it be the same result? Remember, regular season last week, Denver won, although the Colts rested pretty much Peyton.
The simultaneous hit right there on Tatum Bell, and then finally, again, this is Brad Scioli now working his way down the line, and they put Jake Plummer down on the ground. You know, we heard during the course of the week just how the Denver Broncos kind of intimated that somehow the Colts were a soft football team. And when you say that to a football team, I don't think there's anything worse you can say. The Colts came out and proved that they are anything but.
Another comment about the Colts. And Denver, I mean, it's a similar result to them last year. They're a better team offensively than they were last year. And I you know, I mean, that would show with all the points they scored, 522, and the touchdown pass for Manning. And so now the Colts get to go back to where they started. And we will look ahead, and that means at New England. We will look ahead here on NFL Primetime to the round of 8, the best weekend in football coming up. Hey, we had all these road teams win in the first week. What could we be looking at ahead?
Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
So the AFC divisional round now set with the Jets at Pittsburgh. They played last month. Remember, that was tight in the fourth quarter. The Bucs threw and ran for one to break open a game 17-6. And Indianapolis at New England on Sunday, where we had the opening game of the year, 27-24 Pats. They've been so close. New England's won them all. If the Colts, with Ty Law and company here, and I think if the Colts don't beat New England this time, I'm not saying they will, but if they don't, they'll never beat them, Tom.
Well, the matchup, no Ty Law, 3 picks in last year's championship game. He won't be in the lineup against this offense and Peyton Manning and those wide receivers and the running back, Edgerrin, James, and Mungro that we saw today.
And the running in the first game.
Absolutely.
The bus was fun today, wasn't it?
Well, the first game, best rushing team, best rusher.
All right, the NFC, let's see. No 8-8 team has ever, they both won. No dome team ever goes outside. They both won. Saturday, St. Louis at Atlanta. Sunday, Minnesota at Philly. They both played in week 2 at the same field, and the home teams won, although both games were close. I think Philadelphia, because since T.O., they've kind of been in the cone of silence. We haven't seen Philadelphia in a month.
4 weeks.
And however they look is going to dictate how the NFC
and in that game, which Minnesota team is going to show up? And then when it comes to Atlanta, control of Mike Vick versus the fast-track Rams.
I'm thinking the NFC is like the ABA. You know, they should use the red, white, and blue football. Vick equals Dr. J. Donovan McNabb is Artis Gilmore. Culpepper is Connie Hawkins. We could go on and on and on. Game balls in a moment.
You get it.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. grab yourself a great-tasting, low-carb Miller Lite.
Coming up on SportsCenter, Boomer's top plays from the week that was, plus who stepped up large for the win in Hawaii and why the Mets may not be done dealing. SportsCenter coming up next.
Performers, brought to you by Energizer. Keep going.
Boomer, I split my game ball between Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne. We have never seen in the history of the playoffs the combination of success that these two had today. You look at the numbers, boy, they are on a roll.
And Peyton's season obscured the great season, 39 touchdowns, 4,700 yards by Dante Culpepper. He goes into Lambeau. The Vikes under pressure. He's a leader. He's a great player. 4 touchdown passes for him. He gets my game ball. And the Vikes, Colts, they're moving on. Hey, we're moving on to the round 8. Ready?
This weekend. Ready.
Buckle it up.
That's right.
For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching.